सौरभ, अगर तुम लिंक्डइन पे भी क्रिएट किए हो ना, तो इसमें उसमें हमारा जूम वाला लिंक डाल दो, तो
सर
लिंक्डइन
वो
पे।
लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट हो रहा है सर, आप कॉल कर लेते हैं।
Hello everyone. We will start our session in next 20 minutes. So please stay tuned with us. We'll start sharp at 6 p.m. today. Thank you.
So we have two international speakers today, all the way from Canada. They'll be talking to us the importance of robotics, what is STEM, and how Exceed Academy and North Point can take this forward. So let's welcome the Exceed Academy, Mr. Santi. He's been the man behind us, trying to help us to set up this entire project for the past 3 months. We've been trying to work together. So let's welcome Mr. Santi and his team.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much for your kind appreciation and giving us this opportunity to present STEM and robotics learning into the hills of West Bengal. And to be honest, we're really very hopeful that in the coming future, all of the students will get some kind of new flavor of science, math, technology, and engineering. So students who are not involved in the science, not involved
Hello, I am Shanku.
What is microcontroller?
A microcontroller is a small computer on a single integrated circuit that is designed to perform specific tasks. It contains a processor, memory, and input-output peripherals, all on a single chip. Microcontrollers are commonly used in embedded systems and devices such as appliances, automobiles, and industrial machinery.
Hello, what do you understand by term planet?
A planet is a celestial body that orbits around a star, is spherical in shape, and has cleared its orbit of other objects.
Shut down.
Thank you.
So we have two international speakers today, all the way from Canada. They'll be talking to us the importance of robotics, what is STEM, and how Exceed Academy and North Point can take this forward. So let's welcome the Exceed Academy, Mr. Santi. He's been the man behind us, trying to help us to set up this entire project for the past 3 months. We've been trying to work together. So let's welcome Mr. Santi and his team.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much for your kind appreciation and giving us this opportunity to present STEM and robotics learning into the hills of West Bengal. And to be honest, we are really very hopeful that in the coming future, all of the students will get some kind of new flavor of science, math, technology, and engineering. So students who are not involved with the science, not involved with the mathematics in regular life, they will feel it a wow factor, and I believe they will do it joyfully. So next, I'll hand over the session to Mr. Shubham and our other members who are joining from different locations of India and from overseas. They will guide you up at what we are going to do, how we will do, and what will be the benefit for that. So I believe that any kind of queries or any kind of other suggestions is very welcome. Please cooperate with us and let's enjoy this session. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Exceed Academy. We are privileged that Father Stanley has given the stage engaged with our esteemed school like St. Joseph North Point. Our entire Exceed is dedicated to make successful the Father's degree, and we will teach this robotics or AI using a methodology.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. We will start our session in next 5 minutes. Let's wait for others to join. So then we will start our sessions. Let's give us 5 more minutes to start our session. Okay, thank you.
Very good evening, sir, and very good evening, everyone.
Very good evening, Saurabh. We are happy to start one of our another free webinar sessions. So as you know, the things AI robotics is in a full swing at this moment. You have heard about ChatGPT and a lot of things over there. That is the reason behind our government has also introduced a new education policy. We will all discuss in today's sessions and how the engineers can take a benefit from that as well. So stay tuned with us. We will start our session after 5 more minutes. Okay, let's wait for others to join, then we'll start. Thank you, everyone.
who.
What is microcontroller?
A microcontroller is a small computer on a single integrated circuit that is designed to perform specific tasks. It contains a processor, memory, and input-output peripherals, all on a single chip. Microcontrollers are commonly used in embedded systems and devices such as appliances, automobiles, and industrial machinery.
Hello. What do you understand by term planet?
A planet is a celestial body that orbits around a star, is spherical in shape, and has cleared its orbit of other objects.
Shut down.
Thank you.
Excellent. So I think it is 6:03 and it is time to start our session. Fine, Saurabh?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tathagat Saha. You can call me Tat as well. So let me introduce first what we do in Exceed Robotics or in X Robotics uh, works as well. So we are the premier institute based out in Canada, and we are providing the robotics and AI-based solution to all the CBSE and ICSE schools in across India. Okay. Now, why we set up this kind of sessions, right? So in India, almost around almost 15 lakh schools are there. According, I'm talking about mainly the private schools where we have to implement, or government is already asked to make them 21st century skill as well. To implement this particular things, we have to start the think implementing AI and as well as robotics at the school levels as well. And that is the reason behind this need teachers to introduce in the systems, right? So when it is talking about new teachers, it is a new job opportunity for the engineers as well. Why I'm talking about the engineers? Because in that NEP, the National Education Policy 2020, government has explicitly mentioned that only engineers, that is a BE, BTech, or the MCA degree holders can only be taught this particular subject over there. Right? And it is already going to start from the next year, next academic year for the ICSE and CBSE. It is a very good opportunity for the engineers to grab these particular roles and get a job in this, in the schools over there as well. To address this particular problem, to address this particular demand, as X Robotics is connected with the multiple schools across India, we have started a free webinar session as well as our own paid training sessions as well to train all the engineers to make them as a STEM educator. Okay. To me, I'm honored to introduce Saurabh Kumar. He is a renowned trainer on STEM education. He has almost more than 10 years of experience in this particular field. He is give a station to you how you can, as you engineers, and can set up or can be a STEM educator, can be establish your career in this particular line over there as well. Okay, because if you see the data perspectives, right, almost 50,000 jobs that the government is projecting that will be all the teachers we need next 2 to 3 years, because you cannot able to implement all the schools in one go. It is a step by step process, and almost next 3 to 5 years we need to make them as an AI enable or the NEP 2020 ready schools in India, right? To make it happen, we need a lot of teachers as well. So Saurabh will guide you today how we can establish our career as a STEM educator and can take a job in particular all those schools. Okay. So over to you, Saurabh. After these particular sessions, we have a very offer for you. Okay, this is a limited period offer. People who are going to join our paid sessions, we'll give a special discount only for who will join after the completion of this particular today's sessions. Okay, if who are interested after completion of that, ping us into our chat window, into our WhatsApp group. Okay, we will share you all the details over there as well. So over to you, Saurabh.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for the formal introduction, and welcome each and every mentors and teachers around the world, as well as from our country, beloved country, India. That this particular session is not only about like exploring the possibility of STEM and robotics, but further, if you recall some of the memories from the past, earlier we required not required to have the proper knowledge in computer education, but as per the standard being followed by our government and the education policy came into existence, the way we are like trying to deliver the classes is all about the practical sessions orientations to our beloved childrens, right? So the need of those things came into existence because the education minister or ministry or the peoples in the education field found difficulties like in the end of their like matriculation or board examination, they find themselves in a situation where they do not have proper skill sets to like further innovate and further go for the innovation oriented stuff. So to bring these kind of like STEM, particularly STEM, into the picture, giving us an opportunity to explore further to create the innovators among these students, right? So if we discuss in brief, like what is STEM, and especially if we focus on the word STEM itself, then it means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? So science gives us the flexibility to understand more about our environment, as well as science is the what we can say, science is a subject or is a tool for us to like further investigate different natural phenomena and to help us to understand the concept of nature. So this is why the science is important, and there is not the limitation on the definition of this context, but yes, through the series of introduction like the technology, engineering, and mathematics, we can able to understand like how much these domains are important for our children, as a teacher. As a teacher point of view, you should also come up with the same innovative ideas to help a student build their career as well as find their dream path to follow, right? So technology is also helping us in a greater way. Like even though right now we are utilizing the technology to communicate with you all, and through the integration of these sessions like the demo sessions and boot camp programs, like to learn the embedded C programming and Python programming, is like creating vast opportunity for early age engineers to like dedicate their lifestyle as well as dedicate their learnings to this particular platform for the students of our country as well as for the world, right? So if we can able to provide a proper education to each and every peoples like the student around the world, then we can able to make a society where we can further innovate and come up to this solution part which society seeks, right? If you do have any problems in your society, you can able to like go for the solutions and come up with the ideas through the STEM concept. And if we go through the like the brief of this whole journey, then we can find ourselves in a situation where we were limited by the curriculum or the syllabus. But thankfully, the CISP board members and other institutions came up with the detailed syllabus to explore the robotics, AI. They gave the path to artificial intelligence into the classroom program, as well as they gave the proper introduction how to introduce the robotics. So overall, if we talk about the engineering approach, we all know that for an engineer, it is only it is a matter of fact they can able to solve any complex problem with their knowledge, right? So we are actually trying to bring those stuff like the innovation concept from the engineering minds through the technology, use of technology, and further innovation in technology to help them understand the concept practically. And the last but not the least, the M part of the STEM is all about the mathematics. And you all know that mathematics is far more important for all of us, because without using mathematics, we cannot able to define anything in this world. So overall, uh, if we somehow focus on the subject STEM, then we can able to build an environment where a student can devote their time to learn things practically. So this is why the STEM concept is important for them. And through our platform, we are actually providing a support to the teachers and the engineers as well as the mentors around the world to further understand the concept in a broader sense. And what we are not trying to do is to support the DIY stuff in between. So the need of DIY stuff is negligible, right? Because DIY concept will only help you build some of the things which were already built before, right? Through the learning perspective, like if we take the example of our learning perspective, then we can say that the DIY is important, but not that much of important compared to the innovation oriented classes. DIY only give you the insight of problems which are already been into the situation through the maze solving robots, line following robots, and building utilizing the Arduino boards for the project development will not help you to become the greatest of all, right? So through the innovation oriented classes, you can able to cope up with the changes, and also through our series of program, you can able to gather the knowledge which are required for further in your classroom program or to become professional in this field. So let me share my screen with you all real quick so that I can able to introduce the Resourceify, which is a signature product from Exceed Robotics. And through this particular platform, actually what we are trying to achieve is to help fellow teachers and students to get the contents beforehand, joining, doing the experimentation and going through each and every simulations, animations, as well as designing stuff for so on. If you had a look on the syllabus for class 9 and 10, you probably went through the contents of. But if I speak in a broader sense, you won't find those content like the contents for the course structure in brief. So if I have to explain like the class 10 student or class 9 student, if I have to explain any of the things for the class 9 student, I do have this particular theory which you are going to be covered in our classroom program for the teachers. So if you look into the topics we are going to cover is the introduction of artificial intelligence. And if I ask you the definition of artificial intelligence, then probably your answer will be something like that, a machine or like a programming language which can able to decide their own path of interaction or path of executions. But in broader sense, the robotics overall is a tool to help us teach the concept of STEM to our children. And further, if we evolve robotics to a particular level, like where a program is capable to take the decisions and follow the path, is known as the artificial intelligence. And by saying those words in terms of programming languages won't help you solve the problems. But the integration of robotics into the artificial intelligence is all about utilizing the hardware part to like execute the course on it and help the student to understand the exact terms which they want to see and visualize the thing on hand. If I ask you to read a book, it will probably be difficult for you to read a complete book by dedicating your 2 to 3 complete hours directly on that, right? If I ask you to like hear some of the music and relax yourself and study a while, then it will be a little simpler than reading a book. And if you go for the visual simulation and like animations and each and everything, then it will create a long lasting memories on those terms. So our Resourceify is dedicated to that particular application only. Through Resourceify, or we often call it as LMS, the learning management system, can able to help you get more details regarding to the knowledge of this particular field. And through our classroom program, we will cover each and every topic which were mentioned in the syllabus from CISE and ICSE board and other board as well. Apart from these, we will help you to understand the concept in broader sense by leaving the DIY stuff behind and working directly on the basic of different things, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes. But let me give you the overview of topics we going to get covered in our journey of this training session for the teachers and mentors around the world. So if you look closely, we will obviously go for the introduction of an artificial intelligence, application and benefit of AI. And the most important aspect is the ethical consideration in AI, because maybe you all seen some of the movies like the Terminator and all. So on those movie and the series, we do not want the artificial intelligence to become that much smart, which will further like wipe out the humanity or like play some other roles to like destroy the entire world, right? So we make sure to teach the same thing to our teachers first, then further teacher can able to help our student to develop the core concept on ethical consideration in AI. So we will go through the role of data and information, evolution of computer and evolution of computing like pre-AI ML basic binary logic system, evolution of computing in which we will cover the conditional gate, deterministic computer for deterministic problems. And further, if you look into the data, you will probably find one of the common thing in all of the syllabus, the Python itself, right? Because embedded C gives us the flexibility to like perform the simulation, perform the project work, make the project work. It helps us to make different projects and all. But Python gives us the possibility to further introduce the AI models, like the algorithm for the network programming, as well as to build some of the ML oriented stuff. Let me give you one example to understand the ML concept in proper way. Suppose if I talk about the ITMS project, the Intelligent Traffic Management System, which you already seen were implemented in our country, right? So probably whenever you go through any of the traffic signs, you probably find one camera mounted on top of it. And the time, if you are not wearing the seat belt or the helmet, it can able to detect that absence of seat belt mounting as well as the helmet while you're driving a vehicle like the bike probably. So it will directly issue a challan in your name, right? So that particular things comes from the ML model. Like lakhs of photograph were shown to the algorithm to detect the presence of the seat belt and as well as the helmet. So those things, to implement those things, we require to have a brief session on Python. It will only help us by learning the Python programming. And the limitation of Python programming is less compared to other programming languages. We can also employ different programming languages, but Python is superior for right now. Right now, it is superior than others. So we will go through each and every details about the Python programming. And in tomorrow onwards, we are going to have a session bootcamp program for Python itself. So you will learn the basic of Python, and further, our team member will help you to understand the implementation of Python programming in hardware stuff. Hardware means to see those contents, to see those practical implementation live in your hand, rather than just seeing the user interface as usual in our different programming languages. So we will go through the control statement, functions, and everything. So the topic 4 will cover the AI concept, AI project framework, AI concept, and components and stages. And also, we will not forget the assessment part, because assessment is the key point to any learning process, right? So we will go through systematic assessment for robotics, 3-phase assessment for robotics, 3-phase assessment for artificial intelligence, and obviously the Python programming outcome. So it will be a series of 3 assessment as well for the Python, and also related to e-commerce, and we'll have a series of project work in different segments like robotics, AI, and ML. So we will also explore the robotics in part 1, that is new age robotic system, and also understand the concept of cobots, robots to cobots. And we will understand different terms related to robotics, as well as today I'm going to cover those as well for you. That is the robots as a system, different introduction to gears, sensors in robotics, actuators, controllers for robotic system, and so on. So robotics part 1 will also cover the mechanical blocks of robotics, in which the proper visualization of degree of freedom, links, joints, and motion, like the calculation of force itself, is very much important for the engineering point of view. Because if you do not help your student to like get familiar with the motions as well as the different linkage between the components, then it will be difficult for them to come up with the conclusion how to create or idealize one bonds. During this particular session, our team member played a video for you, like the Songku. We developed the humanoid robot named Songku, and that particular bot is capable of like reverting back with answers of your each and every questions, and also it can able to follow your commands to do some particular work in your office or institution as well as in your home environment. And that robot is the far way better example to implement AI system directly in your classroom program and showcase your creativity as well as the real outcome of these courses in our curriculum. So we'll also cover different integration of robots as a system. In artificial intelligence part 2, we'll cover the decision making in machines and computers, the ML scripts or the algorithms, the machine learning algorithm, which is very much important for a student to learn throughout this course structure. And also we do have the best possible test, that is the Turing test, cybersecurity, and problem scooping, data acquisition, data exploration, modeling, and evaluation. So in artificial intelligence second part, we'll also cover the modules and packages, list and tuples in Python's strings. And obviously it will end with a proper assessment series for robotics, artificial intelligence, and Python programming, through which you will gain far more knowledge than the user interface in implementation on programming part. You will learn how to integrate your hardware into the programming so that it will be easier for you to utilize the hardware and make one complete system to function your robot as well as the artificial intelligence, any devices related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. So it will help you further build different projects, and we do have course structure regarding that. In today's chapter, I'm going to cover some of the basic thing which is important for you to understand. Why to choose the X Robotics LMS system and our course structure, because we do have series of theoretical contents properly managed and balanced practical work is given in our LMS portal, the learning management system, or you can call it as Resourcify, to provide you the insight to this whole program. So if we talk about the basic robotics, like what is robotics and what are the robots, in which system we can call those system as robots or robotics, let me explain you in a simpler term. So if we talk about the robotics and robots, it is all about a device or a series of mechanism, or like combination of mechanism which can able to like help human beings to carry out their task. Because why it is required? Because suppose if you have to explore the space or volcano, if you go deep down inside the ocean, sea, and so on, the places where a human being cannot able to reach or cannot able to perform the duty, you are required to have some kind of devices to help you or assist you to carry out the research work or the task for you. If I ask any of the teachers, is it possible to like go for to grab a glass of water from the kitchen to the room they are sitting in, then probably their answer will be yes. They can able to go back to the kitchen and grab a glass of water into their working table to help themselves while they are thirsty. But if I ask you to repeat those same process again and again for the rest of the day, then what will happen to you? It will create a tiredness environment for you. And in overall sense, we can say that human beings are not designed to like cope up with the continuous work or repeatability in their work, right? That is why we need to have one robots. And the word robot itself came from the Czech word that is robota, means drudgery. A robot can be defined as a machine operated by computer programs that can help perform small actions, and through that small action we can able to form series of tasks. So robots, basically, if we compare the robots, because human nature is all about comparing things in between, right? So if we compare to the human body or the computer system itself, we'll find the similarities between robotics and AI part. That is, it does have three of the basic things to like to be built off. So in computer, we often find different terms like the input system, the CPU, which helps process the data, the processing unit, and also the third part is the output. So in robotics also, we find these three specific things in which a robot or robotic system works. So input is all about the sensory parts. Sensor can able to like gain the data or collect the data from the environment and further help the robot to understand the status of their environment. So that it can able to like exactly come to the conclusion what is in there in front of the robotic system, and further we can able to like cope up and do any of the tasks related to the robotics. So CPU is all about the brain of robotic system, and through the brain of robotic system we can able to say that it requires like the system, complete system does require some of the calculation to perform the output things. So CPU is the brain of control of robotic system, and in here what we do have is the microcontroller. We can probably say the microcontroller, but microcontroller does have limitation. It does have a low calculation speed compared to microprocessors. Maybe you already heard of microcontroller and microprocessor before. So microcontroller, in small terms, we can able to start teaching our students using the microcontroller, but for the AI part, AI development and artificial intelligence, neural network, machine learning, we require to have the microprocessor with us. Otherwise, we should employ the computer systems directly to deploy such kind of programming to like compile the program and execute the program in real time, so that we can able to process that much of data coming from the sensory part. So the microprocessor and based microcontroller or microprocessor we can find on our market or anywhere around the world to like process the AI and ML algorithm is the Raspberry Pi system. So Raspberry Pi system is completely itself a computer. We can call it a small computer. So Raspberry Pi, we will utilize the Raspberry Pi completely to understand the concept of how the brain is functioning inside the robotic system to like execute the AI commands or something like that. So output in robotics is all about locomotion and actuation system. So whenever I speak in terms of actuation or locomotion, it means we are creating some of the motion to let our robotic structure travel from one place to another. So why the robotic structure need to travel? Because yes, we want our robotic structure to help ourselves in such a place where we are unable to perform the task, right? So obviously we require the locomotion and actuation system. So in computer, we do have the output device like the printouts, the screen, which produces the output in computer system. But in robotics, yes, the locomotion and actuation system is there to help us attain the certain motion, even though some of the motions are not required in robotic system. While the time we will learn the artificial intelligence and machine learning as well as robotics in our classroom program for train the trainers program, we will figure out the way to produce different kind of outputs. Means we can also able to generate different output in terms of light using the LEDs and all. Also, we can able to produce the sound using these speakers. So the Songku, which you played earlier in this particular session, does have these speakers to produce the output in form of the speech, which further explains the definition of your question being the question being asked to that particular robot. So in overall term, a robot can be defined using 5 different things. So powered by electricity, programmed to carry out certain tasks, senses the environment using sensors, as well as help human being to carry out repetitive tasks. and can work in hazardous environment, can help us explore places where a human cannot able to reach or find difficulties to work on. So this is why we should go for the robotics. And also, if I help you understand robotics in far more better way, then I can able to give you the another similarities between robotics structure and human beings. So in humans, we do often find some of the similar terms compared to the robotics and the robot itself. Human do have these sensory visions, as I mentioned earlier. Like it does have the sensing capability, then further it do have the perception ability, then cognition, and further we do the action part. Like human produces the action. Suppose you are crossing any road and you find some vehicle is approaching towards you, then what will happen? You will retract back to the side of the road, right? You will not cross the road until unless you are in hurry, or like do not have a control of seeing the outside world, or like you do not look on the particular direction, right? By mistake you're trying to like cross over the road. So in robotics structure, it also does have the same things to like work with: sensing, perception, cognition, action, and further to provide the action in form of different motion as well as the output thing. So if we take the example of one of the driverless car, which we already seen in many of the places. Also, the Tesla is so much popular on that note. Tesla is like producing one of the autonomous robot, or we can call it as self-driving cars. So this particular self-driving or self-decision taking things are known termed as autonomous, because programming are involved in there to like execute and identify certain things on the environment itself. So how does a car detects the presence of different things in front of them? How it detects the exact traffic signal color, as well as different pedestrian or stop sound in the roadside, because it does have the video camera to give the car ability to like go through the understanding of surrounding, as well as different sensors are mounted in different location to give a 360-degree map on what is in front of the car as well as surrounding the car. So it does have the rotating sensor. Earlier it was the rotating sensor, but in Tesla there is no rotating sensor, as they are utilizing the lidar concept, the small range what we can say the small range radar. And also the position estimator is helping the car itself to like track down the obstacle and how much distance of obstacle is present in front of the car itself. So using these simpler examples in front of our children or to them helps them to understand the concept in a proper way. And through the training program, like the train the trainer program, you will learn those things in details. As well as if we have to give the similarities of like what is a skeleton or something like that, in which the whole robotics body will be mounted, or the whole robotics body, then we can able to give the similarity between the skeleton and the chassis as well. So a skeleton is all about the structure of bone present in our body. Similarly, in robotics, what we do have is the chassis to provide the complete structure or rigidity to the shape of the robotics. So in simpler terms, we can able to explain certain things in our classroom program, and we can able to show different things to our student to help them understand the concept in a broader way. Let me give you example of one of the things that is the image processing, or we can call it as AI with blocks. With blocks gives us the ability. I'm showing you one of the example of this particular platform, but yes, these simulations are included in our Python programming, and in a minute I will show you one of the example to explore further. So let me turn off my camera in here so that it can able to detect me with this webcam from this app. So let me turn off my camera and you will see the exact thing in here. So let me reload this page for you. Okay, just allow me a second, please. Okay, now, so this system is now showing the exact image output from the camera itself, but now it is not able to detect properly the mask condition and no mask condition. So let me train my model to further detect something in front of the model. So if I insert any of the labels. So like Saurabh is here. And if I train the model using the algorithm, so I'm just training the model and it is showing Saurabh is here. 100% prediction is Saurabh is here. And if I move back from the camera and then train my model as nothing is present, nothing is present. If I train the model like this, nothing is present, then it will show 100% probability of nothing is present. If I come back to the camera, then Saurabh is here. Similarly, Tesla can able to find out the red traffic light signal. So let me train my model to detect the red traffic light by showing one of the thing in front of the camera. So I'm training the model by showing it this particular thing. So if I remove this sellotape from the equation, then Saurabh is here. If I move back from the equation, nothing is present. And then if I bring this particular thing, then red traffic signal is detected. And further, we can able to implement this idea on our hardware system to like help our AI or the ML algorithm to further process the data to stop the car in meantime. So we will come up with these examples in our training program, as well as let me show you one of the Python programming I built for the application. Let me close this thing up and move back to the thing and turn on my camera in here so that it will be easier for you to understand the concept in a proper way. So if I speak in terms of the Python programming, which I mentioned earlier, so it will give you proper ability to execute the task in time. So let me share my screen back again. Another screen, just allow me a second, please, so that the PyCharm will load up. And through the PyCharm or VS Code, we can able to perform many simulations in the Python environment. So yes. So if I go back to the YOLO Bootcamp, and if I share my screen to this particular screen, if you can able to see this programming environment, this is a simple program, 32 line program, which will show you how to detect the real-time video, as well as can able to help you understand the basic of this programming environment. So if I again stop my video from the meeting and share the and execute the program, which will further capture my video from the program side itself, then it will show you the exact probability of what is there in front of this thing. Let me stop my video first. And then I'm executing this program. So the time this program will show up, it will come up with the webcam interface to help you understand the probability of things in front of the camera itself. So now this particular program is executing, and if I stop the execution in here, you will see that it is showing 1% and it is detecting in 122.6 milliseconds. So let me share my one other screen with you in which the real-time video is displaying. So now you can see the real-time video is showing, and if I bring any of the component in front of it, then it will show you the box around it, right? So means it is detecting perfectly the thing in front of the system. So if I move back the camera, so it is actually giving some of the point values, right? And that particular point is nothing but the probability of that particular object in front of the camera. So if I share this particular thing, and if I stop back the algorithm, let me share my detection screen so that it will be easier for you to see the outcome of this program. So if I go back down below where the program is last executed, so yes, you can find one more device were detected, one person, one remote. So probably it is not detecting the mobile part. So let me show me the unlocked screen, then yes, it will come up. So let me share my screen back with you. So let me unlock the mobile first. Then yes, again, if I share back my window of the programming, then further it will show you the exact one person, one cell phone is being detected, and the time taken to detect this object is 102.1 milliseconds. So through this programming, we only seen the user interface part of this programming. But yes, through our regular classroom program, you will learn how to integrate these things into the proper outcome of we can say the hardware part, or you can even say some of the integration of hardware into the programming stuff. Then only the artificial intelligence and robotics will come together to help further improve your knowledge in this domain. So let me stop the program beforehand and turn on my camera in here. Yes, the program is stopped and I turned off the camera in here. So if you go through the content, so we will start with the basic of robotics, in which we will guide you throughout this series of lectures, in which the small contents like the basic of robotics and basic of programming and each and everything will be covered. And after that, we will start with the block level programming, that is the scratch programming. And for the small grade student, it is important for the to understand the block or scratch level programming, but only to utilize the embedded system into it, nothing more than the embedded system, because some of the block programming does utilizes the game building feature or animation feature, but we are not into the animation or game feature. So we will implement directly our hardware devices to work along with our block level programming. And second, if I show you the another week content, so you will probably find the basic components which we are going to cover in our classroom program. The basic component in robotics or electronics is crucial for you to have, because if you do not have any idea about different basic electronic components like resistor, capacitor, LEDs, and different stuff, then it will be difficult for you to cope up with your classes. What will happen? Let me tell you one of the scenario in which you will stuck. Suppose if you go for the adapter or power adapter or something like that into the to search into the market, you will probably find the standard voltage supply from the adapter itself, or you will find a standard equipment in the market side. But if you do have requirement of like 3 volts or 5 volts into your circuitry while building any robotics component, then you probably want to build one of the power things for yourself from the scratch, right? So some of the basic requirements are there to understand the components used in robotics or in electronics to help you further identify the problem as well as to resolve the problem beforehand. So we will cover each and every aspects in basic components, and also you will find different examples of contents related to the STEM modules as we discussed earlier. So this is not only about the robotics and AI part, but also the STEM concept, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we will utilize the concept of science into our practical projects, and also we will see the implementation of different technology into this program, complete program, like the magnets and different the science projects and all. Apart from this, mathematics is most important aspect in robotics and artificial intelligence. The time when you will go for the neural network development, go for the machine learning algorithm deployment, you will need the mathematical equation to represent the outcome of whole thing. Like the thing I showed you earlier, the probability itself comes from the programming part. So the project work itself, some of the project work we do have is the wireless electricity project. And wireless electricity project is nothing but to explain the exact meaning of the science implementation. Science implementation means the concept of conversion of energy in between. And like the science project, we do have conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy, and further electrical energy into magnetic field, and further magnetic field into electrical energy. So through this series of examples and practical approach in our classroom program, you will learn a lot, and you will explore the possibility of robotics and AI in brief and in-depth manner. So you will become the proper STEM educators of tomorrow, and it is widely required for each and every engineers to acquire those knowledge, like the practical implementation of these things in their classroom program, as well as for their development to learn different things. So Python programming along with the embedded C programming. So because embedded C programming is the mother language of all programming languages, C programming, as we all know, and you must learn the concept of embedded C programming. So this is how we are going to deliver the classroom program to all of the teachers. And through this series of animation and simulation, we are also going to explore how this thing works in proper manner. So if I load up one of the simulation in our to understand the flow of circuitry, you will find different contents related to that, as well as if I open up one of the things, let me open up this thing, learning more about register and testing it. So you will find the animation of each and everything in our LMS portal through the classroom program. So series and parallel connections, as well as different simulations, are properly explained into our LMS portal. And through this, you will learn how to explain these things to the student in your classroom program. Apart from this, we will utilize some of the key concept or key environment through which we can able to explain certain things to our student, like the Tinkercad platform. You already heard of Tinkercad platform and the importance of Tinkercad platform in our classroom program. So we will go through the 3D design model, circuitry building, and code blocks using the Tinkercad. We will also learn the advantages of MIT App Inventor. So through the MIT App Inventor, you will learn how to integrate the robotics into your classroom program, as well as it will help you build many more application in early age, as well as it will help you to go for low code function to develop some of the cool controls for your robots, as well as for the artificial intelligence itself. So I do have one of the application developed with me. Let me show you how this particular application works. So I'm opening one of the application, which is just normally a voice calculator, or we can say that, okay, let me open up in my mobile phone so that it will be easier for you to. Okay.
Welcome to our AI calculator app. Please press speak button to ask questions.
So if I speak and ask one of the question to this particular AI app, then what happens? Let's see. 12 plus 13.
25.
So it will come up with the answers. And also, we do not have a limitation on these things, because as I already showed you one of the example of our project Sonku, that is the humanoid robot, which can able to answer each and every questions related to your doubts, as well as we will have those summaries in our classroom program for you to help you build a proper concept in robotics and AI. And also it will further help you build your future career ahead into this chapter. So let me show up something for you as well, then we'll move further into this learning session today. So let me go back to the circuitry, and you will find the proper explanation of the breadboards and all. So let me start with the accessories used in robotics, that is the multimeter. Each and every things will be covered properly in the in this thing, like the breadboard, multimeters, and series and parallel connections. Week 5, or we can say that this is only designed for one of the classroom program, but yes, you will get more out of it, as I showed you earlier in this class 10 syllabus, right? Class 10 syllabus, each and everything will be covered. So if I talk in terms of some of the basic component first, as I already explained you the skeleton part, let me explain you this sensor part, then we will move further into this session. So overall, I gave you the overview to understand the sensor part, right? And sensor is nothing but a device used to gather the intelligence or the data from the environment to help the human or the robotics brain to understand more about their environment, as well as it is helping the robotic structure to identify possible obstacles or different condition of the environments in front of the robotics. So if I give you again the similarities between the sensory devices and human brain. Okay, sorry. If I give you the proper example to understand the concept of sensors, then let me show you this picture. Okay, fine. So now let me use the annotate tool for you to for me to help you understand the concept. So if I talk in terms of, like, we do have the eye to give us the visual perception, we do have the CMOS sensor in the robotics structure, and CMOS sensor is nothing but in overall, in a general terms, we know it as the camera used in robotic system, right? So camera is all about the device which can give the ability to robot to see and visualize their surrounding. It provides this sight to the robotic structure, and through this sight we are talking about the proper recognition of different thing in front of the robotic system. Like the Tesla car can able to detect the obstacle, but not using the cameras, but using the smaller radar modules. So RF communication can be done using our brain waves, as well as we do have some of the ability through the different scanners can able to scan while we are unhealthy or something like that. We do have RF communication in our robotic system. Like radio frequency communication is mostly useful in autonomous robotics, as well as we do have two categories in robotics. Like one is the manual robotics and second one is the autonomous robotics, as I mentioned earlier. So in manual robotics, a person is responsible to guide the robots in the arena or in the platform. So in manual robotics, either we can able to utilize the wire system to control the motion or the actuation of robotic system, or the we do have this series of controlling abilities using the RF communication, Bluetooth modules, or Wi-Fi connections, and so many. And if we are giving the robotics structure ability to go through the Wi-Fi connections or the internet access, then we can probably say that it is all about the IoT devices. And this particular topic will also going to get covered in your classroom program. We will learn more about the IoT devices, and we will explore different microcontrollers and related stuff to develop some of the IoT devices to control the home appliances as well as different robots present in front of us. So smell can be detected in our body through the nose, right? So we do have different sensory things inside our nose to detect the particular smell or the fragrance. Similarly, in robotics, what we do have is the gas sensor, electronic noses for VOC, alcohol detectors, CO, and different carbon oxides and nitrogen oxide, NOx and SOx sensors to identify each and every gases present in front of our environment. Why we do need these kind of sensor in the robotics body? Because these sensor gives us the insight of what kind of gas present in the environment. Suppose if we have to check for the pollution level in our environment or in our classroom, then we can able to like cope up with different sensors to identify each and every gases, presence of gases in our environment. So focus is something achieved in our eyes using the changing the distance between retina and the lens of our eye, right? So in robotics the structure, along with the camera, what we do have is the autofocus thing, which can able to give you the focus ability on a specific things present in front of the robotics structure. And taste is all about, like, we do have taste buds in our mouth to identify different taste, as well as in our robotics structure, we do have humidity sensor and different things to identify the taste stuff and all the things. Okay, so we do have the speech ability, that is the micro speakers. So through our mouth, we can able to generate random speeches, and we can able to verbally communicate with the person standing in front of us, right? And similarly, we do have the speakers or the micro speakers in our robotics structure, through which we can able to produce series of voices or these speeches for us to identify what is happening in the robotic system, as well as we can able to generate some of the signals for the same. Pressure is always pressure is all about identifying through the arteries and veins. We can able to change the pressure, as well as the heartbeat is responsible to change the pressure, the blood pressure in our body. And we do have similar machines to identify exact pressure in our human body. So we do have different pressure sensor in robotic structure to identify the exact pressure, And normally, if we speak in terms of general pressure, like present in our environment is 1 atm, or 1 atmospheric pressure is present in the environment. So we do have touch kind of things in our body, like the skin itself is a great way to identify the touch stuff. But in robotics, we do have series of different sensors to provide the touch data to the robotics body. So we do have two different kind of touch sensors. One is the resistive touch sensor, which was used earlier in our mobile phones in early 90s or 95. So, and also right now we are using another kind of touch sensor in our mobile phone or different devices, is the capacitive type of touch sensor. Capacitive type of touch sensor is dependent on what we can say. The reason why I am going to introduce the basic electronic component is to understand more about the capacitor and capacitance, right? So capacitance or capacitive touch is something similar, but yes, they do have some of the differences as well, because both of the terms are not exactly the same. So capacitive and capacitance is something different, but in terms of the sensor, like the touch sensor, we can say that those things which can able to like conduct electricity from one place to another can able to act or can able to work in the capacitive type touch screen. Apart from our skin, we cannot able to utilize any of the plastic devices or any other devices to like operate our screen of our mobile, right? So that is happening because of the capacitive touch screen. So we do have different things in our body, and different glands in our body to like maintain the body balance. So similarly, we do have the inertial system in robotics, and inertial system is all about the gyro and accelerometer in robotics. So maybe you already heard of the SpaceX rocketry system, and they do have the recognition of the space agency because they developed a sophisticated technology through which we can able to land the rocketry system back to the surface of Earth, right? It is they designed the returnable, or we can say that the reusable rocketry system, because they are like calling back each and every rocket after launch to land on the surface, and they can able to relaunch that rocket and reduce the pollution level. Through the classroom program, through the STEM classes, we are not only responsible to provide the exact definition of different things, but also we are responsible to like look for the concept of sustainable development and green energy into the picture. Because most of the time we try to just idealize those stuff in our classroom program, but we never, as a teacher, we never wants to devote our time to build such things for our students. So these systems, like to explain the sustainable development model and utilizing the same to help them understand how to reduce the pollution and how to preserve our resources, then we can also come up with the great ideas to do the further innovation in our classroom program. So in our body, fluids is being carried out by arteries and veins, but in robotics body, we do have micropumps and biochips to do the same. So different capabilities of human beings can be correlated with the robotics structure for us to give us the ability to understand how these things are going to get integrated and how we can able to come up with the proper conclusion to gather the information from the outside environment. So different sensors we do have. I do have different couple of sensors for you as an example to showcase the importance of these things into the picture. So we do have LM35 modules, which gives us the ability to understand the ambient temperature of environment. So basically, this is one of the kind of resistance, or the transistor. We can call it as one of the kind of transistor, and LM35 is responsible to gather the data of temperature from the environment. Color sensor is responsible to identify which color is present in front of the robotics structure, and through this color sensor, many of the industry are doing the automation in their production facility. And by the term production facility and automation, I only mean that we are talking about the assembly factory in which your vehicle is getting assembled, and also the mobile phone. The greatest example is the mobile phone. So we can able to use the color sensor to sort out the different packages relevant to that particular color into the queue to final dispatch from our production facility. As well as we do have different sensor. I would like to explain those things as well. The gas sensor can able to detect the presence of gas in the environment. Alcohol sensor is useful in many ways to detect the presence of alcohol. And these particular sensor, the alcohol sensor, is being used in our traffic police department to like detect the person, whether a person is consume any of the alcohols or not. So a smoke sensor, on the other hand, can able to detect the presence of a smoke, and further it can also able to evaluate how much pollutants your vehicle is producing throughout the operation. LDR sensor is common example and most known sensors are, and I would probably say that that LDR is not a sensor because the full form of LDR is light dependent register, and by the term light dependent register means it will change its value of resistance based on the incoming light into it, right? It will change its resistance throughout the journey based on the light. So proximity sensor is another kind of IR sensor or infrared sensor. Here you will see the IR sensor of two types of IR sensor is mentioned in here. IR sensor is something about infrared sensor which produces infrared light, and further upon reflection from the surface, it comes back to the receiver end, and further robotics body can able to identify if any obstacle is present in front of them or not. So touch sensor, as I already explained, we do have a different touch sensor in a robotics body through which we can able to give the feedback to the robotic system. And also touch sensor is essential to communicate further with our robotics to give the instruction rather than the conventional switch. If we are living in 90s, then I will probably say that simple switch is important for you to operate different appliances in your home. But right now we are living in the technological revolution. So these kind of sensors are now creating a way more like a smoother environment for ourselves. The humidity sensor, on the other hand, we do have is responsible to gather the presence of moisture in our environment, and phototransistor is responsible to gather the amount of light, incoming light from the environment to the robotic system. The gyroscope, as I already explained, the gyroscope is responsible to gather the data of different axes, X, Y, and Z, to locate the robotics object in the environment itself, means to exactly find out exact location of the robotic system, to identify the location as well as to perform certain operation. The SpaceX system, like the rocketry, reusable rocketry system, does utilizes gyroscope in it, and through the gyroscope, the rocket can able to determine its orientation and position in space, and further it helps the robotic system to safely land on the ground to help us reuse the rocketry system and reduce the pollution in our environment. So soil moisture sensor is one of the important thing in the robotic system through which we can able to perform series of like moisture detection in the planetary system, because we often move out from our home and our plant dies because of lack of watering stuff or the feeding of water into the system. So we can able to idealize different kind of components and other stuff using the system. So this is all about the sensor part, and this is all about the course structure, and I love to explain further to all of you and help you understand the concept in broader sense. Like, in first of all, let's go for a question and answer round session so that it will be helpful for us as well to keep monitor the understanding of yours in all of this series and help you build the concept in a broader sense. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm handing over the session.
Thank you, Saurabh, sir, for your nice session on that. Please type your questions if you have in your chat window after the session as well. If you have anything, you're already part of our WhatsApp group, you can just type it over there as well. We are here to help you out of your questions, right? Okay. So as I mentioned in the initial session, right, it's a very exciting thing, and it's a very exciting time for the engineers as well to grab the opportunity to become a STEM educator, right? So to make this happen, we Exceed Robotics, as we are taking at least 24,999 for a particular course. For this one, we are giving a special discount today we are going to launch this course in 19,999 over there. Okay, along with this course, we will, as a special package for all the schools, you will get the kit, the education kit, that using that you can do your projects work, your LMS access, your all the supports for your projects works, as well as the 24 sessions that we are going to conduct for you for this particular things. Who are going to uh, who are going to register with us within the next 7 days over there. I have already shared these things in our WhatsApp group, so feel free to connect with us for any questions, or any if you want to discuss more on that. Okay, we are happy to help you out. We are going to conduct such sessions going forward as well, and come up with new ideas and new things. We are arranging a series of webinars for all our CBSE, ICSE teachers as well. After these sessions, from tomorrow onwards, another session for Python that is also going to start. So we are helping the teacher fraternity to make this digital literacy program, to make our India in ahead of the skill development part. Okay, so we were, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in your chat window. We are here to help you out. And thanks once again to Aurav sir for your time and give a contribution in Sunday. So any questions? Let me check on that. Okay, so there is a questions. Is that Saurabh sir? Is that how many classes are there, and what are the syllabuses they are going to cover? That is question number one. And there is another question for the placement assistance perspectives as well. So I can give an answer for the question number two. Definitely, we will give a placement assistance on that, as we are connected with multiple ICSC schools and as well as couple of CBSE schools across India. There are a lot of requirements. They are also pressing to us to place for the teachers, that we are we definitely will pass on to our pass out teachers as well. As well as, if you can find a study sample with Naukri.com for any job portal with the word of STEM educator, you will find almost 500, 200, 300 open jobs are there. Okay, so that is also, you can apply for those jobs. And as well as for our pass out teachers, we are also provide them the job assistant, from where we are also connected for the schools, right? So first question to Saurabh sir, for what are the how many classes and what are the duration, what are the things they are going to cover?
Sir, actually, we are going to provide 24 sessions in our classroom program for the teachers to have proper understanding in each and every aspects. Like I mentioned earlier, we will start from the basic scratch level programming, through which we will implement the hardware integration in our programming language. Further, we will go for the embedded C programming. And third, but not the least, we will go for the Python programming to see the actual presentation in developing artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm for our classroom program. We will cover each and every aspect of the board syllabus in details, as well as the project works were guided by the board of members. We will cover each and every aspect in the 24 classes. Apart from the syllabus, we will cover the basic of electronic components and basic of robotic systems, so that the teachers can able to develop their core knowledge in this domain.
Okay, thank you on that. I think there is no more questions, so we can take them questions offline basis in our WhatsApp. You can chat us anytime. Okay, so stay tuned, keep learning. We are here for any questions. We are here to help you out. Thanks once again. Thanks for joining the session. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, sir, and have a good day.